Celestial blessings, my name is Helen Demetriou, and I hope you had a fantastic lunar eclipse a few days ago. I hope that you had a wonderful summer solstice. Now, I've had my crystals out in the sun and in the moon for the few days now, and they're just soaking up all of those lunar and solar energies. Now, this is a wonderful month. It is such an important month, with having both a lunar eclipse and the summer solstice so close together. You can imagine the energies that are emanating around us, the portals, the stargates that have opened in order to allow the divine to be among us. Now, I also wanted to discuss with you in this video about avatars and also the God, or the God aspect. Now, I'm a strong believer in the saying, the idiom, as above, so below. So this means that whatever there is, let's say in the heavens, let's use the heavens as a word, it is also has to be manifested here on earth. Whatever is above has to be below. It has to be here on earth. And I truly believe, with the research that I've been doing lately, which I have to add was obsessively, and it still is, I have to say that there are avatars on this earth, and they could be of angelic, archangelic, they can be of the deities, or they could have a soul, a spirit that has been both archangel and deity. Now, when I say this to people, they look at me as if I'm completely insane and nutty. They say to me, how can a human be a god or a goddess? How is this possible? How is it possible for a deity to be living in another dimension, wherever they are, and to be living in a body on earth? Okay. Now, if we look at the Hindu religion, we can see, which is thousands of years old, by the way. Well, it's not really a religion, it's a set of beliefs. They believe that their gods have avatars on earth, that they are born on earth. And the soul, the aspect, the energy, the essence of that divinity lives within that mortal person. Now, why would the gods do this? Why would the deities want an avatar on earth? I mean, we all know that we was left alone after a certain period to rule ourselves. Yet, we still have to have, these deities will visit here as in a human body in order to oversee the workings that are happening here on earth. Of course, they have their mission, usually to raise awareness or to spread healing, or to bring, to be able to open those stargates and those vortexes, to bring in the divine energies here on earth. Now, again, people will say, okay, but how is it possible? The gods never die. Now, let's just discuss here Jesus. Okay, you don't believe in Jesus? Let's discuss Osiris and Mithras and Dumuzi and Tammuz and an X amount of male gods. Now, can you think what they have in common? What do all of these gods have in common? They're all dying and resurrected gods. Didn't we just say, but gods can't die? So what does that mean to you? We are being told that there is a God that's dying, there is a pattern. And yet we have people that say, well, Jesus is a zombie, or Christians are silly because they worship a zombie God. Well, what is Osiris? Please, come on. We have to put our judgments aside, or that anger that we hold towards other religions because of something that we have passed through or had negative experiences. Let's just put our cards on the table. If you have researched, then you will see that this pattern runs through a timeline, beginning with Dumuzi as being the dying and resurrected god. Also, Marduk was a dying and resurrected god. Tammuz. We have, as I said, Osiris, which many of you who follow the Egyptian pantheon, but even if you don't follow the Egyptian pantheon, you know about Osiris, and you know that he did die and he was resurrected by Isis. And then we see going through to Mithras, and we see in Jesus. My point is, how could they die? How was it possible for them to die? So what I've gathered and from what I understand is that they were mortal, but with the soul or the essence or the avatar, the projection of a deity. And they were here in mortal body to get a job done. It doesn't mean that they're not a god. They are a god. They're just with a human body. I mean, how can it be that they're here among the rest of us if they don't have a human body? You know, and I know that I will say I have met gods on earth. I have met deities on earth. And I find that some of them are finding it very hard to live in this human body, to live in this vehicle. So people say to me, okay, so there's gods on earth, there's angels on earth. What's the point? Well, you know, if you think about it, when they created humans, I mean, they didn't say, oh, let's just hope that there's going to be a soul that's going to descend from the heavens and go into that body. Obviously, they created humans for a reason, and they had to give it that flame, that light, that pilot light, that soul that helps it to keep going. So this is what I believe and what I've been guided to believe, and from my research that I have understood. Now, it's also helped me to get closer to the male deities, the male aspect, because I wanted to find out the academic truth, not just my own personal truth, but I wanted hard evidence of archaeological finds, history, and that is what I've been studying. So basically, it's not so hard to believe that a deity would be on earth. I mean, people would say, well, if I'd said to them, you know what, I feel that you're such and such a god, and they'd say, well, why me? I'm nobody special. I'm not royalty. I'm not famous. I'm not a politician. No, okay, you're not. Yeah, it's just another lifetime. I mean, what is the big deal here? You know, it's just another lifetime to them. They're using a vehicle to get a job done. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you was meant to be a god, and why should a god be famous? And especially in these precarious times of when we're coming to the edge of enlightenment, and we can see how corrupt our world is, and we know that peaceful pilgrims or pioneers from the past have been assassinated for walking their talk and living their truth, then why would we incarnate into a body that is so much in the spotlight that will be done away with before we have the chance to fulfill our mission? Now, there are those who are gods or goddesses here that don't fulfill their missions, and that is their choice. But there are those who are here that, you know, they're here for a reason. I mean, we're here to make a change. We're here to make a difference. And you've heard me, like a parrot, say this constantly over and over and over again. So if somebody just say to you, well, I believe that I'm the goddess Rhiannon, everybody would say, you know, that person's absolutely insane. She thinks she's a goddess. But why? Why should everybody else? Why should we basically be like everybody else just to make the masses feel secure? Why can't we be avatars of a god or an angel or an archangel? Why isn't it that possible? I don't understand. If anything is possible, we all know about the gods walking among us. So why is it so unbelievable for us to think that maybe the gods couldn't be here in their true form? They had to come in human form in order for their vibration to be on the same level as us. Okay, I agree that those with the avatars of the deities and archangels, they vibrate at a much stronger frequency than other people. But if you can you imagine that they're actually here walking among us? Who could go near them? Who could be in their presence? So I do believe that the avatars were here as mortals, or they were able, before they agreed to leave us to their own devices, they didn't hang around with us. But how many stories have we heard about Zeus coming down and making love to a woman in the form of a whatever? We all know about this. We all believe in this, and we believe that it's not mythology. So what is stopping you believing that maybe you could be a deity? Maybe you could be an angel or an archangel? You know, what is this so unbelievable about this? And this is what is the fall. This is what I believe is the fall of mankind. Not having Eve eating an apple, which was a pomegranate, by the way. It was when we thought that all that we are is this vehicle. We lost touch with our divinity. We lost touch with the divinity that we are, the deity that we are. We lost that godhood knowledge, that resonance that yes, we are gods and goddesses. And we began to believe that we are just a body, and that's not true. Even those who claim that they're spiritual, they will not believe it either. Just changing the song there. They're not going to believe it either, because they're not as in touch. They think so lowly of themselves, that we've been told that we're nothing, that we need to grovel on our knees and beg for forgiveness daily because we are nothing, that they have disconnected with their godhood. And each of us has this godhood. Now, when we disconnect with our godhood, yes, we do fall to earth, because we're living in the reality that all that we are is a body, and this is simply not true. I have said countless times, the body is important. It is just as important as your soul, but we need to combine it to keep the balance. The balance is the most important thing. Balance is always important in this life. And that doesn't mean that we must have evil in our life and have good to have balance. We just need to have what is natural. And it is natural for us to recognize the godhood, the divinity within us. Not that the Holy Spirit lives in us. We have to acknowledge that we are also part of the Holy Spirit, the Shekinah, however you want to call it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We're disconnected from our own divinity. And from doing this, we've disconnected from the divine, so that we do see this great divide, that they are so far away from us and so unreachable. I'm not saying that we shouldn't respect them, we shouldn't honor them. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't worship them. I'm just trying to explain to you that everything is connected, and that our souls are divine. We are gods and goddesses. Yes, there are different ranks. There are people that are here for different reasons. But, you know, that is the way it is. And we have to accept that we are divine. And this is what helps you to elevate and brings you closer to the Creator. When you accept and you agree and you submit to the truth that you are part of the divine, you are the divine, we are all one, we do have a divine soul. There are many people out there that are walking this earth, that are archangels, who are deities, who are both. And it also makes me realize that not all the gods are immortal. If we see that, you know, they died, what does that tell you? You know, you have to stop and question these things. You know, it's like when I've been studying now, I wanted to know the roots of religions, okay, and to find out where the three most famous, I should say, Abrahamic religions come from, they come from Sumer, which is modern day Iraq, because Abraham, he came from Ur in Iraq, and he was known as a religious man. He visited the ziggurat. The ziggurat was like a temple to the moon god Nana, and you can go and research that. Don't take my word for it. Go and research it and see, you know, whether I'm telling what I'm telling facts or not. He was a very religious man. He left from Ur and taking the teachings of the pagan god Nana with him, and he spread that throughout the regions. So then we have Judaism, and we have branched off, we have Christianity, and we have Islam. How do we have Islam? Well, what is the symbol of Nana? What is the symbol of Islam? It is the crescent moon. Well, that is the symbol of Nana, you see? And archaeologists, whatever, have traced back the worship of Nana, and they've traced back Islam. Sorry, it's because it's something's trying to channel, and I really want to stay focused. Okay, let me just try and get my thoughts. This channel's just coming through. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I want to focus later. Okay, so they've traced back Islam to, it's coming through again. Okay, they've traced back Islam back to the worship, the cult of Nana. Okay, they've found the tracks, the pattern, the leads, the rows, where Islam originated from, and it comes from the moon god Nana. So we have three religions, big religions, coming from what one man taught, that came out of Ur, Sumeria, which is Nana, which is the Sumerian pantheon, which is the Anunnaki. So my point is, there is a pattern in everything. If we go back to the original deities from the first civilization, which is modern day Iraq, whether you like it or not, Sumeria or Sumer, and we look at their deities, you will see that throughout the times, the ages, when we started to have the other civilizations, Israel, Greece, Egypt, that these deities are the same deities but under different names. If you don't agree with me, just go and research it. You know, I've spent the last year obsessing like a fanatic, maniac over finding, because I need to know the origin. I want to know the root. If you don't believe me or you don't accept what I say, just go and, you know, study it. My point is, you look at ISIS. You know what I find sad is, I mean, this really is just not a venting, I'm just discussing with you. People believe in ISIS, yet they don't know anything about her. They just like it because she's a popular Wiccan goddess, or she's a popular goddess that many people seem to worship, but they don't know anything about her. They don't know that she was Hathor. Hathor was first, and then they split the aspects of Hathor and had Hathor and Isis. And it's the same thing with Inanna. They split Inanna of her aspects, and they made Aphrodite, Astarte, Ishtar, Athena for the war part of her. They split these aspects of one goddess and created different goddesses with the different names. And you know, you have to look at the corresponding goddesses to each goddess. Why are the same goddesses with these names? Because they are the same goddess. Why do we say, well, so-and-so is for this, that and the other? It's because they're the same goddesses. But people through time, when travelling to taking the different beliefs to different places, like for example, we know for a fact that Astarte, who was brought to Cyprus by the Phoenicians, was later worshipped as Aphrodite, because Cyprus is the main head cult centre of Aphrodite. But they only worshipped the love aspect and lust and sex of Aphrodite, even though there are stories of her being a war goddess. So there really is a lot of things happening here. There are a lot of aspects. Right now on earth, there is a lot of divine energy. There are many gods and goddesses and archangels and angels and ascended masters and what have you, who are recognizing their own divinity right now as I speak. And these energies is absolutely fantastic. You know, 2012 is coming. We're entering into the golden age, and we're all beginning to realize who we are and step into who we are. Now, my point is, if you're somebody that, how can I say this? You know who you are, yet you're too afraid. You're not going to graduate. You know, we are here as a group. We've been brought here to get the job done. If you don't do it, you don't graduate. It doesn't mean that anything bad's going to happen to you. That's all it means. It just means that you're not going to be with the rest of us in the frequency that is going to elevate us and ascend. And when we say we help the world ascend, we're not helping Earth, we're helping humanity ascend, the consciousness of humanity to ascend. So this is a huge, gigantic video. I think I've said everything that I've wanted to say. So thank you for watching. Love and blessings. I love you. Bye-bye.